Okay, folks, welcome to Smart Living. I am so excited because I have the Honorable Kimberly Yee, who is our treasurer, and she's going to talk about ways that they help families save for college, the 529 plan. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, it is great. And it's great when we're showing families how to save for college, because college is astronomical, the cost of it.
Yes, it is.
And if you are a family with small children or thinking about having children, the 529 plan is a great way to save and not have to pay interest or taxes on the money earned when you save that money. So I love this. So tell us a little about the AZ 529 plan.
Well, the Arizona 529 Education Savings Plan has been around for a long time, about 25 plus years. Most states have a 529 plan. And it's interesting because Arizona's plan for those 25 years really was hidden away in a small bureaucratic office that most families wouldn't think about going to when they had their babies. And so as a new mom myself, I learned from our financial advisor that Arizona's plan wasn't necessarily the top of the top if you were to look at them in the country. So interestingly, when I became state treasurer, I was going to all of these conferences across the country, and they would have 529 plan information for the state treasurers of all of these states. And I couldn't go to those sessions because I didn't run the 529s in Arizona. So I came back to Arizona, and the first meeting I had was with a former state treasurer, but then Governor Doug Ducey. You remember he was our former state treasurer. And so I said, I would love to bring the 529 plans to the office of the state treasurer so that it can be a statewide publicized entity. And we can really bring more families on to savings earlier on, which is better for our economic education, for those who are coming in to work in the industries to be better qualified and skilled after high school.
Right.
And so I loved the idea of bringing this to my office. It was in the middle of 2020. So here we are, COVID. It's October, and I now have this new program in my office. Well, that's been 46 months. And we have increased new 529 accounts by 44,500 new accounts.
Yeah, that's what I was reading about. That's a lot.
That's huge.
In just that short period of time.
Yes, and I'm so proud of our team because we really wanted to get to the families who have never thought about college before, or higher education, any type of vocational school, apprenticeship programs, because the money wasn't necessarily there. But so what I wanted to do was go to those communities where we needed to reach. And I changed documents to Spanish, changed it to Navajo so that we could reach those communities. And it's been amazing because some of our highest level of engagement has been in those interesting areas that people never really reached for this program. And I love that families are now putting even $15 aside, whatever their budget allows, month over month. And what this program does is it puts a savings account for a child, a grandchild, a niece, or a nephew. And it starts it at whatever point you start the account. It could be from birth to, whatever time you find out about this program, maybe they're in junior high. I always say it's never too early, it's never too late.
It's not.
And they can grow that money with interest over the course of those years. By the time they're done with high school, you have, your savings right there for your higher education opportunity. And they can use it for room and board, books, tuition, even access to the internet, whatever those expenses look like. And it doesn't have to be a university education. It could be a vocational school. It could be workforce training.
So it's anything education.
Higher education.
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was exclusive for college. Now, let me ask you a couple questions. I just want to back up here just a little bit. So the AZ 529 plan was recently arrived here in Arizona by your standards. So the 529 plans that we had was not necessarily with Arizona, it was with other investment firms. Explain that to me.
It was always with various investment firms. It was housed in a little office called the Post-Secondary Education Commission. Who would ever know to Google Post-Secondary Education Commission? No one. So really, I wanted to bring it to a more visible office.
So you brought it out of the closet and you dusted it off.
Thank you.
Okay, got it. And you shined it up, and now we're really celebrating this. And there are some advantages to this besides the fact that any money that you invest in a 529 plan that interest rate that you earn, or the interest you earn, you don't pay any taxes on that. And that's the beauty
It's all
of it.
tax free.
Yeah.
And the tax deductions go per family. So let's say you are you have a child, you open up a 529 account, and you're a single filer for your tax purposes. You get up to $2,000 for that child.
Right. So you get deduction.
If you're married, it's $4,000.
Okay.
If you have 2 children, it's $4,000 per filer, or $8,000 for a married couple.
Okay.
So there's no limit on the number of kids you have in the family. And one of the things we really wanted to talk about is that it doesn't have to be just parents who open these accounts.
Right.
It could be a grandparent, and it could be, you know, an aunt or an uncle who has a young niece or nephew. Anybody could open an account for a 529 for a beneficiary and contribute and get those tax benefits.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know that.
So you as a parent, if you have a 529 for your child, I love this time of year because, you know, the holidays are approaching.
Right.
Why not send a little link that connects to your 529 account and say, hey, instead of a traditional gift under the tree, think about maybe contributing to my child's 529 account.
And they get the tax deduction also.
Exactly.
So it can even be a friend of the family?
A friend of the family.
So this is fantastic. So there's 2 ways that you can kind of sort of save a little bit on taxes.
And this type of gift, it really goes a long way. It really does allow for families to get that tax deduction, as well as contribute to a very important savings plan.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love is that this last January, we were able to have a new law in place that allows for any leftover funds that a family has in that 529 plan. Let's say your child doesn't go to college, or your child goes to college, but you had leftover funds in there. You can move any of that money to a Roth IRA for that child for a retirement plan.
Okay.
So up to $35,000.
Okay.
So there really is no excuse on how much money you can put into a 529 plan, because there's this rollover now for retirement.
Mm-hmm.
You've always been able to transfer any amount to another family member. By the beneficiary name can always change to sibling 2 or sibling 3. That's always been in place. But now that the money can stay with that child for their retirement.
Okay, well, that's really good. Now, besides that, so that's particularly for the AZ 529 plan.
Exactly.
So this is for our state, although people can get 529 plans outside of states, but these benefits that you mentioned are specific to Arizona.
Yes.
So parents, AZ 529 is what you want to do.
Yes.
Is where you want to put your money in for the benefits that Ms. Yee just mentioned. Now, besides that, also, I heard that we're doing a little contest.
I love this contest. So we want to engage children in this very important conversation early on about savings. And so we offer various contests throughout the year. This fall, we opened up an essay contest. And it's our 5th year having this contest for 5th and 6th grade students across Arizona. All they have to do is write what their dream job is and what it will take to get there. That really starts that conversation with their family about really that ultimate goal of what that education might look like.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps a family start thinking about, well, what do we have to do to start saving now? Right. And it could be, you know, again, a vocational education. It could be a traditional university education, whatever it is. That opportunity is now starting with that conversation. And so this contest goes till October 6th.
Okay.
We're going to choose 20 winners across the state. We are guaranteeing a winner in all 15 counties. Okay. And they will receive $529 for their win. Okay. So it's so exciting. We had about 886 entries last fall. Can you believe it?
Really?
Yes.
So how are people hearing about this contest? Like, does it schools that get the word out for
all of
kids
it
to apply? Okay.
Yes, we send this out to schools. We actually have winners from traditional school district schools, charter schools, home schools, private schools, and tribal schools. So we want to celebrate that there's a lot of different types of educational systems here in Arizona, and we want a winner from all of those places. So we do advertise to our homeschool communities, to our charter schools associations, as well as our traditional school districts and our tribal schools and private schools. We have a great social media account, so we always share that. But they can just visit az529.gov for more information. They actually submit their entries through that website. Okay. And again, it ends October 6th. So we'll have the winners announced sometime in October, and they can come to the state capitol to receive their $529 in person with their families and their schools.
That's great.
And the big check that we give to them is oftentimes bigger than the child. So it's super sweet to see that wonderful ceremony every year.
That is really fun. And that is great that you've come up, you've dusted off this AZ 529 plan. You're promoting it. I think this is a win-win for our community, for everybody in the Valley. Now, Kimberly, I want to ask you one other question.
Sure.
We've talked about the 529. Clearly, you help manage our money. But for those of us that aren't that educated, what does a treasurer do?
Oh, well, the state treasurer is the state's chief banking and investment officer. I manage about $64.7 billion
Whoa.
in our cash flow throughout the state. It goes to various state entities, local governments, school districts around the entire state. So my constituents are everybody in Arizona, and I absolutely love my job. I really have made financial literacy a platform of my office because I believe there's a direct correlation with how people individually and families manage their money in a smart way to the overall fiscal health of the state of Arizona and how those funds come in. And so as we saw in the recession and all of those wonderful things that we kind of want to put in history, people didn't really manage their money very well. And I saw that firsthand. And I thought, yes, you have to pay off your mortgage. You have to pay your bills month to month. You will get interest, and all of those things that we really need to focus on earlier on. So I created a task force on financial literacy early on in my when I became state treasurer, and we have experts from military families to school districts to vulnerable populations and senior citizens, helping each one of those communities understand how to better manage their money. And we created a new law that puts into place in our high schools, you have to have economics in order to graduate. So we have inserted financial literacy coursework in the economic semester.
Okay, hold on just one second. Oh my goodness, finally! Yes.
I appreciate
this is
that.
amazing. I love this. I always say, why isn't this in our curriculum?
Oh,
this
yes,
is the fundamental thing of our lives.
It's a life
to
skill.
Manage your money. I love this.
And it really hasn't been taught, unfortunately, because there's so much that people have to teach. But this really is a life skill that if we don't have it, you can very easily fail. And when you don't have, that pathway to a financial plan, you can really get into debt very, very quickly.
Yes.
And it's very difficult when you're in that spiral of debt to get out of it. So we really want to capture young kids early on with engaging and fun activities like the 529 essay contest. In the spring, we have an art contest, and it's open to more grades. And in the summer, K through 12, they can take a photograph of their dream job and submit that. And so it's easy to do. And this allows them to start, again, thinking about their future, making sure they have a plan in place financially. But all of these things are really what the state treasurer never really did in the past. I really wanted to bring on board new items. I actually went to the legislature. I said, for my legacy piece, when I'm gone from this office, we will always have the state treasurer with the responsibility of expanding the awareness and understanding of the importance of financial literacy. This will always be in place in this office now.
That's fantastic.
And beyond that, we looked at vulnerable families, those who are on welfare assistance. We don't want them to be on generational welfare.
No.
And unfortunately, the case is that it is. And so I wanted to go to those families to help them with financial literacy skills as well. Because once they get back to work, they need to have these basic tips once the money is in their pockets, so they don't have to go back into that system again. So I looked at various laws across the country, and New York had one that I really liked. And so I went to the legislature and I said, hey, we really need to put into place that when a family is on welfare in Arizona, government subsidies, they have to have workforce requirements anyways. Let's put financial education coursework on that menu of items. And so we have, and now it's a law since 2019.
That's fantastic. Well, Kimberly, I appreciate all the things that you're doing for our community.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you taking the time to come in and share little ways for our community on the 529 plan, the Arizona 529 plan, and the things that we're doing in the state here. So thank you again. And I look forward to seeing you back on this show again, because I'm all about financial literacy.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me on.
So if you guys want to find out more information about the Arizona 529 plan, Kimberly did mention where, but I'll have a lovely article posted on my blog at smartshopperdaphne.com. And don't forget, guys, I'm Daphne Monroe, your smart shopper.